we began our meeting as we begin every meeting, and then the chairman came to the point of saying we have vacant positions. He pointed out that there, at the time of the biennial convention, we have, oh, my time's up already. Too bad. That there were 41 seats, but we had gained 3 during the gubernatorial election. So we have 44 total seats. And 22, and don't hold me to that, I'm pretty sure it was 22 seats had been filled at the biennial convention. So then he asked if anybody wanted to serve. Is this correct, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He asked if anybody wanted to serve. And that is when Mr. Webb, and I believe Steve, said that, how is this possible? How do we have 44? Is that right? How are we filling these seats? And then there was some discussion, and Mr. Webb made the motion that of the vacant seats that were left, that the first should go to the JPs and the countywide elected officials. And then the remainder should be voted on, the members of the body could run for those remaining positions. So that's when I got up and I read from my rule book what the rule said. And Mr. Webb's motion was voted on, and the body voted against giving the seats to the elected officials and to the countywide elected officials and the JPs. Then a subsequent motion was made that said all the members, both the countywides and the JPs, can run for those positions with every other member from the body because they had not submitted their intent in writing at the time of filing. And that is what was done. Again, there was some discussion, as Mr. Lux said, there were a couple of JPs who notably did not sign the complaint, but they said, well, I didn't file a form. I didn't get a form to fill out claiming my role. And I think it should be pointed out, I don't remember who made this point, but the comment was made that we were taking seats away from the elected officials, the JPs and the countywide officials. And that is when the JPs and the countywide officials really got engaged. And they said, well, wait a second, why are our seats being taken away? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And that's when it was explained. Again, the rule was read. It's not being taken away. You had first claim to that seat. You did not submit your intent in writing. Therefore, those seats can be filled by the body. And so that is what we did. Again, this is a summary. This went on for 2.5 hours. And if I missed anything, please correct me. But that is what happened. There were 3 of those elected officials who raised their hand and said they wanted to go. Again, Mr. Lux did a great job giving us a compromise. They were all voted in, and knowing, because at that time the meeting had not been called. We didn't know what the date was. And so he said that for those who could not go, then if there were too many people, there were 13 people that were elected in to fill the remaining 10 seats. And the 10 seats was because certain people had been appointed, and we had written confirmation of that appointment. So first we had a motion, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm going all over the place now. But first we had a motion to elect those appointed, because there's nothing in the rules that said they could be appointed. So we wanted to correct that. So the motion was made that we elect those people who had been appointed. So that was approved by acclamation. Then there were 10 seats remaining after that. And that is when the motion was made that everybody, including countywide elected officials and JPs, could run for those remaining 10 positions. 13 people ran for those positions. That is when Mr. Lux said, hey, instead of having an election for all these people, why don't we elect them all in? We'll see who can actually go once the meeting is announced. And that was voted on and approved by the body. When it came down to it, I think there was only one person who could not go as a member or proxy to the district meeting that later said he wanted to go. Only one. And I'm sure we would have bent over backwards to make sure he could have gone if he had just notified us in time. But we kept asking, do you want to go, do you want to go? And he was, I think, checking his calendar. Mr. Gibson, correct me if I'm wrong. And it was kind of a last minute thing, and by then we had just delegated we had worked everything out. So everybody got to go who wanted to go except that one person. And he still could have gone as a guest. He just chose not to go because he wasn't going to be able to vote. So, did I miss anything?
That same person didn't raise his hand to volunteer when he had the opportunity to do it.
That's right.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Tams,